with liberty and justice for all.
Let's please remain standing and think of our fellow soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen protecting our country and saving lives down in Texas. And let's pray for Florida and hope that Irma doesn't
Beat her up.
hit us again. Thank you. May I have a seat? So at this time, I'd like to say the Board of Trustees of the Village of Suffern has adopted a Resolution 110 on June 29th authorizing the mayor to appoint Mr. William Osborne to the vacant position to full-time police officer. So at this time, I would like to call up Chief Clerk Osborne and Police Officer William Osborne.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations, Billy. I'm just going to read a quick little bio. Thank you, Mayor Board. I'm going to read a quick little bio on Mr. Osborne. I'm going to swear him in, and I want to congratulate him. First, I want to thank everyone for being here tonight, and for our family, and as well for all the officers. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank all of our officers that are here tonight. We have several department members here, Lieutenant Allen, members of our department, numerous, our PBA president, Andy Rockland, Lou Venturini, Timmy Dunn, Andrew York, Jim Giannattino, Abby Adams, and did I miss anybody from Suffern? And Colleen Muller, Lisa Colleen, you know Colleen, and I have Captain Jim Walters from the Little Ferry, New Jersey Police Department, Sergeant Bill Hunt from Moira Police Department, as well as several other honored guests here tonight, and I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. Okay, Billy was born and raised and still resides here in the Village of Suffern. He attended elementary school at Sacred Heart in the Village, and later attended and graduated both Suffern Middle and Suffern High School, where he graduated in 2013. That's like a couple years ago. While at Suffern High School, he played 2 varsity sports, serving as a goalie on a lacrosse team and a forward on the ice hockey team, and was a proud member of the Suffern hockey team when they won the New York State Championship in 2012 in Utica, New York. After high school, he attended Rockland Community College for a year and then transferred to SUNY Cortland, where he excelled and made the academic dean's list. This past winter, Billy decided to put himself through the Rockland County Police Academy on his own time and at his own expense. Actually, it was my expense. And for the pre-employment program, he left college a semester early for his bachelor's degree. He promised his mother he will be finishing that up. He graduated the police academy this past June and became a certified police officer. This past November, he took the most recent Rockland County Police Civil Service exam and scored a top score here in the village. Billy has spent his entire life in this village and served as a lifeguard for a village pool, including 2 years as head guard for Kathy Mills, which probably still right, right? Thank you, Kathy. He also has volunteered for many causes, including serving as a hockey coach for our Dare League, as well as assisting every year with our holiday toy drive. He is also a volunteer martial arts instructor at the Landis Martial Arts Center here in the village, where he has been training since age 5 and holds the rank of first degree black belt, soon to be testing for his second degree black belt, and his martial arts instructor, Mike Melanger, is, thank you, Mike, and George Epstein, one of his former coaches. We'd like to welcome Billy to our department and thank the mayor and board for the support. We have several of his coaches here: Pete Karate, George Epstein, Rich Scandal. Those guys are coached into many sports. I have my sister, Debbie, my brother John, a retired officer from here, my niece Nicole. We have numerous people who have helped him out along the way. Obviously, I have my family, my mother-in-law, and it's usually not going to introduction, but I sort of have to. I want to sleep in a shed tonight, and I have my wife, and I have my daughter here tonight. And Randy Ortiz and Paul, you guys, where's Randy? Randy sent me a picture today from when the boys are 4 years old. So we go back forever in this village, and I want to thank all of you up here for this honor that you bestowed upon us, and Billy's going to do a great job for us. He's a good hand with the officers that we work with. So I'd like to call up my wife, Ruth, and my daughter, Kaylee, and William up on the stage, and Markunas. We would like to swear Billy in at this time. We want to thank you Help me yourself. I hope I don't miss anybody. I get up. Come on, go. Come on. Jimmy.
No.
You swear? Really, you stand there. I'm stand there. Clerk, Mr. Jimmy's going to swear to you. I said so much. Virginia, thank you.
Pardon?
I,
State your name.
William Osborne,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York.
and you will faithfully discharge the duties of the police officer of the village of Suffern.
I will faithfully discharge the duties of a police officer of Suffern.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, yes, go.
For your first time, Virginia.
What was that?
Not bad for your first time.
I said it from memory.
Congratulations, Bill. Excellent.
I said that. Yes. Aw, you're welcome. You better be welcome.
Thanks a lot.
Billy, you walk just like your father.
It's not, that's all right. I like Billy better.
Congratulations, hon.
Mayor, just going to say a few words.
Well, it is an exciting day here in the village of Suffern, and let me tell you that Police Officer Osborne, you have a fine mentor. I hope you follow in your dad's footsteps. I'm sure you will. And Chief, keep up the great work. Thank you to the department for coming out tonight, friends and families. It's really a great day in the village when we increase the patrol strength here in the village. It's critical to keep our local laws and codes in force, and it's people like you, our first responders, that we have to support day in and day out. Thank you.
And I want to thank, I didn't mention a couple officers that just came in. Also, thank Chairman, Detective Sergeant Rick Marsh. Thank you for being here as well with our department. We're just going to take a couple quick pictures up here if anybody like, and then we'll be on our way. Thank you. Here, don't want some pictures? Thank you, Nicole. We can take that.
They're taking some pictures.
Yeah.
He's so proud.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Sure.
you are too, aren't you? Your son?
That's nice.
It is. I just told him you better behave.
Mayor, would it be okay to go to my agenda first? Is that okay?
Sure.
I won't be, I gotta get through a couple of agenda items, and I'll be out literally within 1 moment.
I turned this off. You want to turn that off?
I'll be right I'll be right out with everybody after I finish my thing. Sean? Yeah. Good job. That's a come. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Turn on. Traffic, thank you.
I like him too. The Jewish person.
Yeah, who's that?
I don't know, he was talking to Clark and Clark met him to promise. So he must be a personal friend.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, he is. Come on, Noisy, let's go.
I can just go real quick, is that okay? It's very basic. I'm just asking for a resolution to declare a 2004 Taurus.
Oh, I have the wrong resolution. Hold on.
You got the wrong resolution?
Here it is, here it is. Okay, so I have the resolution here in front of me. Suffern Police Department has identified the following vehicle no longer functional or cost-effective to maintain: a 2004 Taurus, to declare surplus. The village board declares the listed vehicle as surplus equipment. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Just up in the moment.
Thank you, Mayor. I have asking for resolution to accept a $500 donation from the Marble Elks Lodge. I'd like to put that into our equipment line 4200 000.
Okay, so I have the resolution accepting a $500 donation from the Marble Elks Lodge for the purpose of purchasing equipment for the Suffern Police Department. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. I have a resolution here to accept the resignation of Aaron Freed as part-time dispatcher, effective September 5th, 2017. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye, motion passes. I have a resolution here to appoint Sean McGrath Roberts as dispatcher part-time upon approval of Rockland County personnel. Board of Trustees of the Village of Suffern authorizes the mayor to appoint Sean McGrath Roberts as dispatcher part-time effective September 6th, 2017 at a pay rate of $20.60 per hour. Upon approval, Rockland County personnel. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye, motion passes.
Mayor, board, thank you so much for everything. I'll be glad if you need anything, just go out there right now. I'm a little bit, but I'm at home. Thank you
All
for
right.
everything.
Congratulations.
Thank you again for everything, all of you.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to call Mr. Randy Ortiz for an update, Building Department.
Thank you, Mayor. We continue to push along and deal with the overcrowding issues and illegal occupancies, as well as summertime's our busy time with property maintenance. I don't have any numbers because our system actually went down, so I can't give you any raw numbers.
Okay.
Our Civic Gov computer system that we use, it's in the cloud now. I guess it was too cloudy and it went down last Thursday, and it's going to be back up fully by tomorrow, so.
Okay, great.
I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Anyone from the board have any questions? No? All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, next, Fire Department, Chief.
Good evening. Just a couple of quick reminders. The Rockland County Firemen's Parade is on Saturday, and we'll be having a mutual aid engine standing by the hose company for us during that time.
And that mutual aid is what, who?
For the Village of Suffern.
What company?
Well, it's going to be for both. We're going to have some guys around, but not a lot of guys, so our tones are going in as well, and it's a rescue engine that's standing by.
Okay.
To cover both. And on October 1st, just a reminder, the hose company's having their car show over across from the firehouse.
Yep.
That's all I have.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. Okay, next up, Culture and Recreation. As you see, we're moving along quite speedily.
Beautiful. I forgot the date.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
Good evening, everybody.
Okay.
I know I did. I forgot.
So our update for this evening, this Saturday, September 9th, at Yorkshire Park, we'll be working with the Lions Club on their Dog Day event. It should be a great event. Last year was the first time they did this, and we're looking forward to another one this year. Frank Hagen with the Lions is going to be there for the Dog Day event, so it should be a great day. That day also will be the Dare Barbecue with Chief Osborne, and everyone is invited. It's a free, open barbecue to anyone that would like to go. It's always a fun day with Dare events. 9/11, the remembrance ceremony will be a week from today. Monday, September 11th at 7 p.m. on Monargan Drive. It will be a candlelight ceremony, so we invite everybody to come out to see that. Primary elections will be on September 12th, and that will be at the Leo Leiden Building and the Community Center all day, so there will be no programs at those locations. Suffern Day is coming up. We're very excited for that. Saturday, September 16th, we have activities between 11 and 3 down at the ball fields. And then evening activities are that night, starting at 6:30. We've got music and fireworks. The Suffern Street Fair will be coming up on Sunday, September 17th. The hours for that are 10 to 5 on Lafayette Avenue, and then 10 to 7 will be the Beer and Wine Garden. Then we have Film Crew coming up on Thursday, September 21st in our community center. We're looking forward to hosting them. Then on Friday, September 22nd, we have the Midget Mounties Bonfire. The parade begins at 7 p.m. and will be coming down Lafayette Avenue, starting here from Village Hall. And then the bonfire goes on at 8 o'clock. So it was a great evening for the community. People come down. It's just a really nice time for people to come down and see it. The military banner ceremony has been changed up a little bit. More details to come. I think we're changing that a little bit. And then the discussion that I'd like to talk about this evening, we would like to get tickets for the Broadway show Beautiful for November 18th. So I'd like to have approval for that so we can go forward and put the word out that November 18th we'll go see a Broadway show.
Do we have a resolution for or it's just a discussion? So what did we do last year? In regards to purchasing the tickets, this is what we're talking about.
I just mentioned it again last year. We do this 2 times every year. We do one in spring, we do one in the fall or winter. This will be the second one this year. I just asked permission for me to go ahead, and that's been typically how we've worked with that.
Last year, we had a number of tickets that we purchased, and we somehow...
We do the amount of tickets according to a bus, so we do 56 tickets. So we fill up the bus for 56, and that's how many we're able to take.
And what's the purchase amount?
The purchase amount right now, I don't have it in front of me, it's $55, I'm going to say, plus we usually, no, I apologize, it's $70, and then it's $15 we get on for the bus, so the ticket prices will be very close to that. So I didn't bring the price down, but we even it out, so there's no cost to the village.
Mike, do you recall how we went about purchasing these tickets last year for the play?
Yeah, they're purchased ahead of time.
Right.
And then after they see the show, while they collect the money for the tickets, then we reimburse the village for that.
Okay.
So that's how that works.
Kathy, if I remember correctly, weren't the tickets for this November show already purchased, but that show
Correct.
Closed?
Correct.
Oh, that's right.
You're going to get a refund
We will definitely get-
from
yes.
them, so this is
That's
just
right.
really an approval for a switch?
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
We're going to need 3. Fireworks, 2, DJ, 3, band. Kathy, I think we're going to need 3 motions for
Okay.
Suffern Day. With regard to the fireworks company,
Correct.
are we able to, if you know, amend that contract to take the burden off of site location off the village and place it onto the fireworks company?
We can absolutely talk with them. I'm sure that they're amenable to that. So perhaps we could sit down tomorrow.
Okay, have we gotten a response from them with regard to the
I
location?
did see them. We went to the fields, we looked over the fields. They're very willing to work with us and whatever we might need to have the fireworks.
Okay, so let me make a recommendation that the board consider approving the contract. Don't have the name of the fireworks company on me right now, but with the fireworks company
and that the mayor be authorized to sign the agreement for same, subject to the fireworks company agreeing to eliminate the responsibility of the village to locate the placement of the fireworks.
I can't speak for them, but that's something that you and I guess we can go over tomorrow. If you let me know exactly what you would like to say, and I'll talk to them.
Yeah, let's wait for their response.
What?
Well, let's wait for their response.
Yeah, but
But still, you need to,
you got very little time.
so what do you want to do, a motion now?
Yeah.
Grant the provisional.
Okay. All right. So, how'd you read that? All right, so bring forth the motion and just read it.
A resolution to authorize the mayor to sign the contract with the fireworks company that has been previously submitted for Suffern Day, subject to the fireworks company agreeing to eliminate the village's responsibility / liability for the placement and location of the fireworks, and that the firework company be responsible for providing the safe location for same.
All right, so I have a motion?
Wait, you mean determining a safe location?
Yes.
right? Not
Yes.
providing a safe.
Right.
Thank you.
I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right, motion passes.
All right, two less controversial resolutions. One is to hire the DJ. Do you have the name?
Caesar Munez with DJ Productions.
Caesar Munez with DJ Productions, and authorize the mayor to sign the contract on behalf of the Village of Suffern.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Third, the band.
The band, I don't have the name, I didn't think to bring it this evening, I didn't, does anyone
To hire
have
the
it?
band based on the submission already received by the village to perform on Suffern Day, and authorizing the mayor to execute said contract on behalf, or agreement on behalf of the Village of Suffern.
We have a motion?
Motion.
I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Okay. And to be clear on the recreation update, just that, let's see, the banner ceremony is really, well, okay, that will be changed, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
And then I have that listed here for street fair, did you want to go over anything with myself, or it's listed under recreation, but I'm not sure if there's anything you want to...
That's really a chamber event, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's in there, I just didn't know.
That's all right. Okay.
And the Mounties Annual Barbecue Parade and Bonfire, we went over.
Right.
And the surplus equipment.
The what?
The surplus equipment,
Surplus, you got
Yes.
two resolutions.
You have two resolutions there.
Yeah, but this is for the,
Barbecue.
oh, that's the two?
Yeah.
All right, so the first resolution is allowing Suffern Midget Mountie Football to hold a barbecue parade and bonfire on September 27th. Barbecue will begin at Kukalo Field at 5 p.m., followed by the parade at 7 p.m., and a bonfire at 8 p.m. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye, motion passes. Next resolution I have, a resolution declaring and disposing surplus equipment in Culture and Recreations Program. A Canon camera, serial number 0137C001AA, and a laminator, model 5000, to be declared surplus equipment. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
I'd also like to say thank you to Moira for working with me with the equestrian group. It's a great addition that we'll have a pony ride at Suffern Day this year, so I think that was great and I appreciate it. It's going to be a nice addition this year. So thank you. And I think that's it. Any other questions?
One last thing, on the
Yes.
on 9/11,
Yes.
where do you want us?
So
Where do you want us?
what I will do, Hank, is, I'm sorry, this is your first 9/11. I will be sending out information for what you're going to do in the ceremony.
Okay.
So that will be, today's Tuesday, by Thursday of this week, you'll get something. But it's at 7 PM down at Lonigan Drive.
Where's the signs in the
Okay.
morning?
Very good.
Right here.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, next up, Mr. Fred Rella.
Good evening.
Hello, Fred.
Hello, Fred.
Applied for 2 grants through the state municipal facilities and capital program.
Can you speak closer to the microphone, please? Thank you.
I applied for
This
2
is dealing
grants.
with money. This is
Better?
important. I want to hear this.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Applied for 2 grants through the state municipal facilities and capital program, which was sponsored by Ellen Jaffe. One was for a heavy-duty truck, which is which should be used by the DPW Street Department. It was in the amount of $250,000. It's a multifunctional truck. Basically, it's a truck, it has a chassis, and then you can change the back component for varying functions, like a flatbed, a dump truck, or just like a cargo carrying type of apparatus. So we should know about that in about a month to 60 days, whether or not that's coming through. The second one was, I also worked with Charles on this, by the way, a new digestive boiler for the sewer department. The sludge basically has to maintain a certain temperature of like 110 degrees, and we have 3 old boilers that help to maintain that temperature, okay, and they've been repaired numerous times, and they're really on their last leg. Total cost for the replacement of the boiler is about $500,000, okay? The maximum amount we could apply for the grant was $250,000, so applied for that, all right? Also should know about that within the next 30 to 60 days as well, okay?
Okay.
The 1033 program, which is the Surplus Department of Defense Equipment Program, which is run by the New York State Department of Criminal Justice Services. I worked with the chief and with Dan, and there was about 3 or 4 varying contractual agreements that had to be signed, and we were approved for participation within that program. So that's very good. That's where we can get everything from weaponry to filing cabinets to desks to computers, whatever the Department of Defense considers surplus, like we did tonight with the cameras, they'd be eligible for acquiring that. One final thing is the mayor and I attended a training session over at Rockland County Community Development on the Community Development Block Grant, on the award that we received this past year for $170,000 for the Wayne Avenue project. So basically just told us how do we have to utilize those funds in an appropriate manner to capture the funds. Okay? Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Fred. Anybody have any questions? You know, I actually forgot to set the meeting dates for the next month. So the next workshop meeting will be Tuesday, September 26th at 7. And the October board meeting will be Monday, October 2nd at 7. Okay. This time, I'd like to open the floor up for audience participation. Would anyone like to speak?
Mr. Mayor, Didn't we have to complete the resolution for the awnings?
Oh,
Yeah, the resolution for...
I'm sorry. Hold on.
From the grant writer.
I have it right here. I have it. Okay, so I have a resolution in front of me for authorizing the acceptance of the low bid for design, fabrication, and installation of signs and awnings in the Village of Suffern Business District. Whereas the Board of Trustees has consulted with the Suffern Facade Improvement Program Administrator with respect to awarding the low bid, and whereas the low bid is in the amount of $23,853.50 from Sign Creations, Inc., Congress, New York. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Suffern Board of Trustees accepts the low bid for the design, fabrication, and installation of signs and awnings in the Village of Suffern Business District in the amount of $23,853.50 from Sign Creation, subject to the procurement of all required documents and review of the same by the village attorney. Be it further resolved that the mayor is authorized to sign the contract on behalf of the Village of Suffern. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Okay, who are we up to there? Audience participation, I'm sorry. Anyone from the audience? Not all at once.
Going twice.
Okay, audience participation is closed. Miss Virginia Menschner.
Okay,
Okay.
we have those minutes again, Mayor. I guess
I don't have them
Joe
with me.
Russo isn't here. So shall we hold them?
You want copies of them?
Let me see.
Here they
I
are.
don't have them all.
Who's here?
Joe Russo, I think, was missing. Was that all of them?
So the three, we can do three. Hold on.
If you want to.
Three.
You want to hear from
All.
You can do
I think we can do them all,
Yeah,
right?
you can do them all.
Yeah, okay, we'll do them all. Can I use yours?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I have the special, do you want to read them?
No, you can read them.
Okay. Special board meeting Friday, March 3rd, 2017. President Ed Markunas, Frank Hagen, Moira Hertzman. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. I have special village board meeting, May 10th. President Edward Markunas, Frank Hagen, Moira Hertzman. I have a motion.
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Village board meeting, Monday, June 5th. All were present. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. I have a special board meeting, June 29th. Let's see.
The name?
Ed Markunas, Moira Hertzman, and Henry Sussman. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Special board meeting, August 18th. Markunas, Hagen, and Mr. Sussman. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you. Virginia, these are your
Yes,
copies.
thank
Put
you.
yours. Hang on there.
Thanks, Mayor.
You're welcome. Department of Public Works, Mr. Zawicki. Let's see what I have here.
Yeah, did that one.
Good evening. I am requesting authorization to attend the Southeast New York Stormwater Conference in Beacon, New York on October 18th, 2017, at a cost of $150.
All right, so I have a resolution authorizing Charles Lee to attend the Southeast New York Stormwater Conference on October 18th, 2017. Well, Hudson Valley Coalition and Conservation Districts holding the annual Stormwater Conference October 18th in Beacon, New York. Attendance at the Stormwater Conference provides 5 continuing education credits for certified floodplain managers. And for be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Suffern hereby authorizes Charles Sawicki to attend Stormwater Conference on October 18, 2017 in Beacon, New York. Reimbursement for its expenses, including registration fees, meals, tolls, and gas will be provided to the attendee upon submission to the village clerk of a voucher with supporting documentation. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye, motion passes.
I am requesting authorization to issue a purchase order for a Ford F-250 pickup truck with plow, which would be ordered through the New York State mini bid purchasing procedure. The cost of this truck is $32,819.52. The purchase would be funded by Capital Projects 2016.004.
I have a resolution authorizing the purchase of a Ford F-250 pickup truck with a plow. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes Charles Sawicki to issue a purchase order for the Ford F-250 pickup truck with a plow, which will be ordered through New York State mini bid purchasing procurement. The cost of the truck is $32,819.52, which will be funded through Capital Projects number 2016-004. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I have a question.
You need a second?
Second.
Okay.
Okay, discussion?
This was not done by a grant, correct?
Pardon me?
This was not done by a grant. This was in the budget
Yes,
last year?
that's correct. It was from 2016 fiscal year.
So, Mr. Genito, this is properly funded through the budget?
That's what I'm doing. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
I am requesting payment authorization for application of payment number 3, payable to Entech Corp. in the amount of $16,683.59 for the Phase 1 sanitary sewer abatement project.
So the resolution authorizing payment number 3 to Entech Corporation for the sanitary sewer abatement project, Phase 1. In the amount, payment number 3 in the amount of $16,683.59. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have any discussion?
Just for the record, this is for professional services, correct?
No, this was the Phase 1 sanitary sewer abatement was broken up into 2 separate projects. This was for the one project that we did about 4,100 linear feet of cast-in-place lining in the sanitary sewer piping. So that was, it was a contracted...
So this was competitively bid?
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah. This is something that, I'm not sure the exact date, but it goes back quite a long time now.
Thank you.
And it was part of the consent order as well.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Okay. I am requesting authorization to issue a RFP for the wastewater treatment plant upgrade and plug flow modification project, final design. The RFP will be due September 29th.
I have a resolution authorizing the request for proposal for the wastewater treatment plant upgrade and modification project, final design. The RFP will due September 29th. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
We probably should put a time on it.
Well, on the professional service RFPs, again, it is a professional service RFP, and typically they do that at the end of business on that day.
Okay.
So a lot of times those be submitted electronically.
I'm okay with that.
And just to be clear that this was the upgrade and modification RFP, this is the second RFP that went out.
Well, we did do an RFP essentially for the basis of design, which was, goes back probably a year and a half or 2 years ago now.
Right.
That was again part of the consent order. The base of design, that work was completed and submitted to the DEC, and they did accept it. As part of that RFP, I did ask for some pricing on the final design. However, we believe that we're going to be able to make some changes in regards to soliciting some MWBE consultants that would enable us to, it would help us in our grant effort with the EFC. And we truly believe too, we might be able to get some better pricing at this point as well.
Right, so just to be clear that we're submitting this specifically to see if we'll be able to gain EFC financing.
Well, no, well, this would be, again, there was a couple of requirements. The base of design, which we satisfied.
Right.
We went out for an RFP, and that's all done. This now is a separate RFP for the final design. So essentially would be the bid documents to go out and construct this. So we need those documents to go out for bids, to be able to construct the work.
But those bid documents will contain minority-owned women businesses?
What we're doing here is, we have at least 4 at this point, that we might be able to add more. We're soliciting from 4 MWBE consultants, and might be 4 or 5, and then we have another 4 or so that would possibly be able to meet those, meet that criteria. It's a 20, I believe it's a 20% goal that would be required. But we'd be a good faith effort for us to solicit to the, directly to the MWBE consultants.
Yes, Fred.
Okay.
The Environmental Facilities Corps of the state of New York is going to, looks like they're going to be floating a grant for this opportunity of the project, actually the shovel in the ground aspect of it in the spring. Okay, so we're going to go for funding of the actual work to be done. Simultaneously, we also go for the low-interest financing.
Right.
Okay? And that's what happened with the sanitary sewer abatement project. We were not awarded the grant funding for the actual project itself, but we got it for the low-interest financing. Okay, so it's a little confusing, but we're going to be applying to try to get some funding and keep the cost as low as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, how would the timing work on that? If the RFP for the design isn't until September 29th, and the grant that you're talking about, Mr. Rella, is in the spring, I mean, the design firm has to be picked, the design has to be designed, and a shovel in the ground seems like it's beyond that time.
Well, we recently submitted a letter to the to DEC asking for an extension of the consent order, specifically addressing the EFC financial application and also the application for that grant that Fred just spoke of. That would, we've asked for a 10-month extension. So, and I believe that the applications are available, correct me if I'm wrong, Fred, the second quarter, my understanding is the second quarter of 18, that those, the application for that grant would be available. So, getting the extension would enable us to apply for the grant and still maintain our schedule with the consent order.
Thank you.
Okay. Now
We have the motion?
we leave off.
Did we have the motion?
Any other questions? We want
Yes.
We did. Yeah.
Yes. And then there was
This is
discussion.
discussion. Yeah. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Okay. I am requesting authorization to issue a purchase order to the low-cost proposal from Bella Vista Construction Corp. in the amount of $27,882.
Wait a minute. Oh, here it is.
for the installation of required ADA ramps as part of the roadway improvements Phase 8 project. The construction cost of this project will be paid from CHIPS funds.
Okay, so the resolution authorizing the purchase order for the installation of ADA ramps for roadway improvements, Phase 8, in the amount of $27,882 from Bella Vista Construction. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll do the second.
And discussion?
Yes. I believe this exceeds the amount which exempts this from being competitively bid, but even if I'm off on that, did we follow our procurement policy and seek
The,
2 or 3?
There's a $35,000 threshold to publicly advertise capital projects. Under that threshold, and we can have Michael confirm it, if we have 3 proposals, we're making attempt to get 3
So we have 3
proposals.
proposals?
Right. Now, I did have, one contractor did not submit, I have it all documented, that we made the request. However, he did not submit a bid. We did have a second contractor that did submit his proposal, which was, I don't have the figure in front of me, but it was substantially higher. And I believe that satisfies our requirements.
Okay, with the discussion that we had earlier this afternoon with Mr. Janito, were we able to provide him with the additional information and the discussion that we had in the office?
Well, yeah, we had some, we haven't gotten all the information as of yet. We'd have to sit down and discuss the particulars, but there was one question that came up in one of the areas, whether there was sidewalks, and that area does not have sidewalks, so that would not impact any ADA ramps.
Okay, so all of the ADA ramps here, how many are there?
13,
So this would cover 13 ramps.
yes. Now, along with
I'm
that...
just trying to think of, that this goes along with the paving project. So no matter what, these ramps can be done.
So, a couple of things. It's a requirement from New York State DOT. If you're going to be utilizing CHIPS funds for paving, you need to upgrade the ADA ramps. So that's one requirement. The other part of this is, along with the ramp, you would be replacing the curb and a portion of the sidewalk to be able to get the proper slope to accommodate that ramp. So it's not just the corner of the sidewalk, it's a little bit more involved in that. You have a fair amount of curbing that needs to be replaced, as well as some sidewalk that's adjacent to the ramp.
So I know that when we did the sidewalk project last year or 2 years ago, what would happen if we do the ramp, and we do a portion of the sidewalk, but the sidewalk adjacent to it or next to it is not? How far do we...
Well, that doesn't, we haven't, this proposal does not address any, no, it does to a certain degree. If there's some cracked, damaged sidewalk that's truly adjacent to the ramp, we've taken that into account. But we're not going a block down or half a block down. You know what I'm saying? If it's tied into or adjacent to where the ramp would go, if it's cracked, damaged, we would be replacing it. But we wouldn't be addressing all sidewalk issues.
And then the elevation of the curbs too, the reveal of the curbs. If the curb is so low, and we're putting in a new curb with the ADA ramp, all right.
Well, see, what happens here, the requirement is that you have the drop curb at the ramp.
Right.
And that has to be at the same level as the pavement. And then then of course it raises up, and then you have, essentially have a 6-inch reveal for the most part, once you get...
So I'm saying if we don't have that reveal, at the older adjoining curb?
Well, what we're gonna do there is the curb that we're gonna put in, we are gonna do a 6-inch reveal and then drop it down where we terminate and match the existing.
Okay.
So we can, if we had to come back later on, they had new curb, we'd have that part still have the 6-inch reveal, and that would have to be ripped out again.
And then if we don't pave the roads that we put the new ramps in, can we back them out?
Well, we can, it's essentially done on a unit cost.
Right.
So if we don't do all 13, we won't pay, we only pay
Okay.
for, we say we do 10 for whatever reason. we
Mr.
only pay
Genito?
for 10.
Yep.
Right.
Mayor, to kind of clarify on your earlier question about the information that Charles is supposed to get to us, he presented today to us a itemized listing of the streets to be done under this repaving program and the dollar amount associated with each street, as well as on a couple of them where ADA ramps were going to be installed. What the information that we're waiting for, that I'm sure he'll get to us tomorrow, is a redone list that shows not only the itemized amount for each street, but where the ADA ramps that weren't listed are going to be, as well as he was going to review the streets that had curbs and sidewalks, if there were any curbs that actually needed some repair or replacement. So I'm sure that what he was just discussing about the ramp and the curb and then bringing it back down would be part of that.
Okay.
As well, if there's any other issues with those streets. And finally, with that list would be kind of a prioritized list of the most important streets to replace due to their condition. And if I'm not correct on any of that, Charles, just let me know. But I believe that's what was supposed to come back for us tomorrow. And then, as he mentioned, as he goes through this project, obviously you never can tell what you might run into. He provided a 10% contingency on each of these streets. If a street were to be more than that, obviously there's a limited set of funds here. So it would either have to come out of the next street, or we might have to defer the repaving of one of those streets on the list or more.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
So here I have the resolution. I know I read the portion of the resolution, but there's a change. Be it further resolved that the Director of Public Works is authorized to sign the purchase order on behalf of the Village of Suffern. The Village of Suffern to utilize CHIPS money seeking reimbursement for the same. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know if I'll sign the purchase order, but I think the rest of it's pretty accurate.
We good, Virginia?
2 minutes.
2-minute break.
No.
2-minute warning.
Okay.
Okay, you all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes.
All right, just have one brief update. The James Street sanitary sewer abatement project is essentially complete with the exception of a few minor punch list items that we're going to be addressing. Any other questions?
Any questions? No.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I just wanted to mention, the name of the band, just so you have it for the resolution, is South Street Station. So I just
South
wanted to add
Street
that in.
Station.
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
South Street Station.
Okay, Mr. Genito.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Tonight we have a resolution for the adoption of a bond authorization to issue a bond for the sanitary sewer system improvements. One of them was the boiler replacement project that was mentioned. If we indeed get a grant, then we obviously would either not borrow the money, or if we did borrow the money, it would be on a short term to begin with anyway, and then pay that off with the grant money. So, but it's going to include that, a generator for the South Street pump station, and as well a investigative work that's required for the sewer plant, and, of course, the financing cost associated with it. So the total of that is going to be $640,000. And we need a resolution by a supermajority.
So I have the resolution, the bond resolution of the Village of Suffern, New York, adopted September 5th, 20, authorizing the construction of improvements to the village sanitary sewer system, stating the estimated cost therefore of $640,000, appropriating said amount for such purpose, and authorizing the issuance of bonds in the principal amount of $640,000 to finance said appropriations. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any discussion?
Just to make the board aware, this resolution is subject to what they call a permissive referendum. Permissive referendum. And there are certain posting and other requirements that have to be complied with
It
by the
has to be
village clerk.
advertised.
Okay, so who made the second?
I believe I did.
Hank.
Mr. Sussman. Okay, it was seconded by Mr. Sussman and duly put to a vote on roll call, which resulted in the following. Ms. Hertzman?
Aye.
Mr. Hagen?
Aye.
Mr. Markunas? Aye. Mr. Sussman?
Aye.
Right, Mayor, I just want to also add that with all our bond resolutions, we now like to make the point that if any money is unspent at the end of the project, that those unspent funds will either, as by law, return to the debt service fund, or also as by law, they can be used for another purpose within the same purpose as the local finance law that this resolution was established under.
Okay, great. Thank you. Motion passes.
Okay, the other one, next resolution is for me to attend the NICOM Fall Training School and Annual Conference on September 12th, just for one day. And the only cost would be the travel and meal cost.
Okay, I have a resolution authorizing Mike Janito to attend New York Conference of Mayors Fall Conference on September 12th, reimbursement for expenses including meeting registration, fee, meals, tolls, and gas will be provided to the attendee upon submission to the village clerk of a voucher with supporting documentation. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. Michael, do you eat a lot? Because we don't want to, we want to make sure we give you enough money for the meals.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm willing to pack a lunch before I go, if that helps.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
All right, the next two resolutions, we have two people. One is Barbara Cartier, and the other one is Kathy Van Sickle. Both were former employees, retired from the Village of Suffern. We have utilized their services in order to provide for the transition as our new full-time employee becomes more experienced. As a result, our full-time employee was hired, her first starting day was June 20th, and since pretty much the last month, we haven't used the services of Barbara. However, we do want to have the contract in place in the event that we should need to call her in and ask her to assist in some function that only happens maybe once or twice a year. And Kathy will be with us a little bit longer as our new employee has learned the functions pretty much that she already has of what Barbara does, and now transitions over to learning what the accounts payable side of things were.
Okay, so I have the resolution authorizing the renewal of the consulting agreement with Barbara Codiers, August 19th through December 4th, 2017. As the Board of Trustees approved the hiring of Barbara Codiers as a consultant in the Treasurer's Department, April 14th, 2017, special board meeting, effective April 17th, 2017, and whereas said consulting agreement was period month-to-month, renewable monthly, upon approval of the Board of Trustees, and whereas on July 10th, the Board of Trustees authorized the continuation of said agreement through August 18th, and whereas the Treasurer has determined in order to provide continuity of service, that consulting service will be required from time to time through the reorganization meeting scheduled on December 4th, 2017. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the mayor to sign a consulting agreement with Barbara Codiers through December 4th, 2017, non-pro-tunc. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. I have a resolution here, authorizing renewal of consulting agreement with Kathy Van Sickle. Same terms, consulting, for the village office clerk, April 14th, all the way through. Whereas the mayor has determined in order to provide continuity of service that the consulting agreement under the direction of the treasurer will be required on a part-time basis through the reorg meeting scheduled on December 4th, 2017. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the mayor to sign consulting agreement with Kathy Van Sickle through December 4th, 2017, nunc pro tunc. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Mayor, just one last thing that's not on the agenda. I just want to give you an update. The Capital One Bank is leaving the village of Suffern. I'm not sure what's going on with them nationally, but at any rate, they're leaving the village of Suffern. We had a couple of accounts with them for our parking department when we took over the parking authority. Those accounts are going to be moved over to another bank that we have as an authorized depository with the village. And as well, as part of that process, we revisited our arrangements with the company that processes the online and the credit card payments. And the company Park Mobile that actually does our parking permits has that feature available to us at a lower cost. So we are getting into the process of negotiating with them that transition from our previous payment processor to Park Mobile.
Okay, great. So then that means that we'll only be utilizing Park Mobile directly. We
That is
won't have
correct.
another third party
Correct, there will be no third party
processing
involved
the
in it.
payment of the credit card.
Correct,
Right.
yes.
Okay, so that's a cost savings, actually.
Yes. it is.
Okay, great.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ginno.
Mr. Kraushaar.
Okay, I am asking for a resolution authorizing me to attend the same Nikon conference with Mike Janito. I will be staying for longer. I will be taking classes, but not at the village's, not at this village's expense. It would only be meals, tolls, and gas, and to make it very clear, much to my chagrin, the IRS limits the reimbursement for meals, 3 meals, to $66 a day. So, the 5-pound lobster that I plan on having every night is not going to happen, nor will even a lobster roll.
No lobsters?
Depending on how many municipalities are picking up the tab.
No lobsters? No lobsters.
I'll make
They said no
sandwiches for
lobster
you
roll, they
and
said they crawl. Do I have a motion?
motion.
Do I have a second?
Who made the motion?
Frank.
Okay.
All in favor?
Okay.
Motion passes.
Okay, through a series of events that occurred in the course of the past couple of weeks, and really in furtherance of something that has been pushed by Trustee Hertzman. She says a year and a half, I say a year. And I say a year because I've only been here a year. We have 2 different laws that seem to say the same thing. One deals with advertising, the other deals with peddling and soliciting. Within the advertising local law, we have what is commonly referred to as a no-knock list. That's not what we call it. But absent from the peddling and soliciting portion of the code is that no-knock list. And I propose that the board consider adopting a local law making those two sections of the law consistent by adding to Chapter 200, peddling and soliciting, a version of a no-knock list. And that would entail setting a public hearing and also complying with the general municipal law, which means the law would have to be sent out to Rockland County Planning Department, posted, published, etc. So I'm suggesting that we at least set the initial public hearing for Monday, October 2017 at 7:05 p.m.
Okay, do I have a motion?
October 17th?
October 2nd.
Oh, I thought he said 17.
That's almost St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Just about.
At 7:05?
Yes.
Okay.
So that was, whoever made the motion?
Frank.
Seconded by
Second.
Mr. Sussman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Okay, trustees. Ms. Hertzman, I think?
Yes. I have a resolution sponsoring the Hudson Valley Council of the Boy Scouts of America to do a project in Brooklands Park in honor of one of their co-founders, Daniel Carter Baird, who lived on the property. If we approve it, they are hoping to do improvements within the boundaries of Brooklands Park, including new benches, installing a wrought iron railing near the river, replacing or repairing the handrails at the footbridge, which is in dire need of work. So I'm hoping that this can be sponsored by us, and they get the opportunity by September of next year to complete their project.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Do you have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion
Aye.
passes.
Okay, Mayor.
Mr. Hagen, you have anything?
I just want to wish the people in Texas a speedy recovery. I understand there's more rain coming there, so I hope, in Louisiana and now Florida. That's all I have to say.
I think Mr. Hagen's brother lives down there, is that correct?
Three of them.
Three of them, that's something. They're doing all right?
They're real safe.
And you've invited them to the safety of your home, of course.
Yes. And Dan's going to take them out to eat when they get here,
68.
with his money.
Mr. Sussman?
Nothing for them.
Okay. Mr. Ed, here we go. Okay, I have the same resolution authorizing Markunas to attend night conference September 12th through the 14th. Reimbursement for expenses including meeting registration fee, overnight accommodations, meals, tolls, and gas will be provided to the attendee upon submission to the village clerk and voucher with supporting documentation. Do I have a motion?
Come on.
No, that was easy. That didn't even take previous discussion.
What was that?
That wasn't even pre-planned, I'm telling you.
Somebody make a motion. Poor Mayor.
Virginia, help me out.
Come on,
She
someone.
did, she tried.
I'll flip a coin.
Poor Mayor. I'm gonna put Hank and Frank down. I'm gonna put Hank and Frank.
Huh?
Hank and Frank. I'm gonna put, Hank made the motion.
All right.
Frank-
I'll make the motion.
Hank makes the motion.
And Frank was gonna second it.
Frank second. Any discussion, Moira?
I think I should go to keep an eye on them.
Okay, all in favor?
I'd like written notes.
All right, motion passes. That's funny, oh my God.
Yeah, they're mean to you,
That is
Mayor.
so funny. All right, I have a resolution appointing Laura Flaherty as sub-registrar. Resolved, the Village of Suffern Board of Trustees hereby amends Resolution 136 to the Village of Suffern Board of Trustees hereby appoints Laura Flaherty effective August 7, 2017 as sub-registrar with the term of office through the reorganization meeting in December 2017. Ms. Flaherty will receive the annual salary of $2,400 prorated from August 7th, 2017 through the reorganization meeting scheduled on December 4th, 2017. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, any discussion on that?
Add non-pro-tunc after that based on the date.
Non-pro-tunc. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. We are currently revisiting the fee schedule for the Village of Suffern that was adopted on June 11, 1990. So I would say 27 years of the existing fee schedule needs to be revisited. So we're working on that. I'd like to I have a motion to appoint Katie Bolger to the Suffern Tree Committee. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye, motion passes.
Is that Frank and Hank?
Okay.
I have Moira. Moira and Hank.
Have a motion to have a shredder in there?
Motion to adjourn?
No, we have one last item.
Oh, okay.
So tomorrow is the premiere showing of The Man in the Red Bandana. That will take place at the Lafayette Theater. So I created a press release, and it reads as follows. Like the portraits of our veterans of Suffern's lamppost, today is honoring those who lost their lives on 9/11 by adorning our village with red bandanas. The red bandana is a symbol for Wells Remy Kraushaar, an extraordinary 9/11 hero and Rocky County native who gave up his life so others could live. Suffering faced great loss in the name of freedom on 9/11, and it is our responsibility to remember our first responders and those like Wells Remy Kraushaar, who are truly a testament to bravery and heroism. In honor of our 9/11 heroes, I encourage all residents to begin the tradition of displaying red bandanas as an annual tribute. Please also join me tomorrow, Wednesday, September 6th, at the Lafayette Theater for the 7:30 p.m. world premiere, Man in a Red Bandana. Let us as a community fill the theater to capacity in recognition of our great American heroes. They're close to 500 people. They sold almost 500 tickets, so it should be a full house. It'll be a great night. Come on out and watch the premiere. How's that? Okay, a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I would like to adjourn this meeting in the honor of somebody who recently lost, born and raised in Suffern. Thomas Meehan passed away very recently. And he was, as I said, he was born and raised in Suffern. He had many credits on Broadway, including Annie, Hairspray, Rocky, Young Frankenstein, and he was the brother of a former trustee, as a matter of fact, who sat in this very seat, Jack Meehan, and I would like to adjourn in his honor and memory.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. In memory of Thomas Meehan.